Greetings, boggles and ghouls. It is I, Emperor Jonwayne Frankenstein, the man who's been playing Dungeons and Dragons for over 40 years, the ultimate forever game master. And today, for D&D, we're going to try to show you how to play your favorite character as a Dungeons and Dragons character. Now, first of all, we're going to, when we do this, we're going to try to follow the rules as best we can. We're going to use the latest rules of 2024, but the 2024 does allow you to use the previous 5th edition for things that haven't been updated yet, so we are going to make use of that particular rule. We're going to use the point buy system. We're going to assume that the character's levels determined by where they are in the game. We're going to assume that they also get magical items as well as classes, racial abilities, etc., etc. And we're going to try to use the magical items that are at a certain suggested level, etc., etc. Today we're going to do one that I've never seen done very well before at all. Superman! That's right, how to play Superman in D&D, at least to make it feel like you're playing Superman. Now, the first thing about Superman is he's an alien being from another world with a diverse range of powers, almost seeming like he can do anything, with the ability to hit harder than anyone else and to be nearly totally indestructible. So those are the things we're going to go for. Other powers he seems to exhibit is super senses, x-ray vision, heat vision, cold breath, the ability to fly, the ability to be faster than anyone, even keeping up with the Flash, the ability to survive in outer space without having to breathe, etc., etc. So the first thing we have to do is determine his race. In the comic books, Superman is not a normal human. He's born on another plane of existence from the planet Krypton. So we have to look for a race that has the feel of being born elsewhere, that has similar powers. And the race that I found comes closest to giving us the build we want is none other than the Genasi, which you'll have to use from the 5th edition. Now it starts out with a speed of 35, which helps us get closer to being faster than a speeding bullet. They get dark vision, which helps with the whole super senses. They get undying breath, which means that he can hold his breath indefinitely in underwater, in a vacuum, in outer space. Whenever he wants to stop breathing, he just stops breathing, which again works well with Superman. Lightning resistance, since Superman is nearly indestructible, lightning is a common effect that he would need resistance from. He also gets the mingle with the wind, which gives him, first of all, shocking grasp. Now, shocking grasp will allow him to hit harder and have advantage on people wearing armor. So that works pretty well for Superman, because Superman literally punches people in the face, except when he's using his heat vision or his cold breath. Level 3 gives you Featherfall, which helps with the whole flight thing. Now, the thing is, when Superman started, he did not have flight. Originally, he had super jumping, and his leaping was so great that people thought he could fly, but he wasn't able to fly. That was later in his evolution that he gained that power. So at this point, that helps us get where we want to get. It's kind of like simulating the early career of Superman. And then, of course, they get levitation, which is a form of flight. Again, just like what we said above. Now, for his background, there's a lot of choices. The one I went with was Prismari Student. Again, back from 5th edition. The Prismari Students, well, they're essentially students trained in a magical academy in another dimension. The whole point is that these are students that receive special training that was far beyond what a normal person could get in their normal home. And our theory is that Superman got his education from this Fortress of Solitude, which was this high-tech remnant of his home planet Krypton, which was a superior learning system. And because of that, he gained education far beyond what a normal person would get. Now, with the Prismatic Student, he gets Strixhaven Initiate, Prismatic, for which we will take Firebolt, and Ray of Frost, and one first level spell that he can use once per rest, which we're going for Longstrider. So now we've got a Superman that can run really fast and even faster when he needs to, that has the cold attack. And we're going to go with the rules that flavor is free. So his Ray of Frost comes out of his mouth, and his fire bolts come out of his eyes, heat vision, frost ray, super speed. We're already off to a good start. Now for the stats we're going to give him, we're going to use the point buy system because that is standard, and we're going to use the +3 points that are allowed from the racial thing. And his ending stats are going to be strength 8. I know what you're saying, Superman is super strong. We'll get to that in just a second. We'll start out with a 16 dex after the plus to that, a 14 con. Now Superman is nearly indestructible, and he's really tough, but sometimes he does get beat down. So 14 is more than adequate for what we're doing. We're doing intelligence 11. We're going to say he's above average intelligence, but Superman isn't known for being the smartest man in the world. He's not Mr. Terrific. He's not Batman. But he will have a wisdom of 16, which accounts for super senses and his super wisdom. And then we're going to give him a charisma of 12. I mean, it's the point buy system. You can't get everything you want. But Superman's generally a likable guy, but he's not necessarily considered the greatest leader or, the more... He's likable, he's attractive, but he's not necessarily the most likable, charismatic guy in the DC universe. There are people more intimidating, more charismatic, and better leader than him. But, of course, he does have leadership from his amazing wisdom, which, well, we'll get to that in a little bit, too. And for his class, we are going for Monk. We're going for Monk because his power literally is he hits harder than everyone else, and he can't be hit, or when he does, he shrugs it off. And you'll see how that works out soon enough. Now, as a monk with level 1, he gets martial arts, which lets him do a d6 punch damage, and he can use his dex bonus to hit with the unarmed strike. He has unarmed defense, which is his dex plus his wisdom, and so we're starting out at level 1 with 16. Now remember, in the comic books, they did start out with Superman being a baby, so we could just assume that this is his baby stats, where innate strength is actually kind of not bad for, a munchkin. In any case, then we go to level 2, where he gets the Monk's Focus, where they get the focus points, formerly known as key points, and you can do a flurry of blows with 2 extra attacks for 1 point, or patient defense, where you can disengage as a bonus action, 1 focus point to both dodge and disengage. Now the dodge means that all enemies have disadvantage to hit you, and you can run away from danger without having an attack of opportunity. This means you can keep people from hitting you, and when they try to hit you, it's going to be very hard for them to hit. You already have a pretty decent armor class, and they have disadvantage to hit you. And we're only talking level 2. This is like still baby Superman, probably a little bit before Superboy. Then you got Step of the Wind, which you can do dash as a bonus action, and then 1 focus point to both disengage and dash, which is going to double the speed you can run. So now you can already run at 70 feet in a turn, or using Longstrider, 90 feet per turn. You're already fast as heck, boy. We're talking like Sonic the Hedgehog speed. You got the unarmored movement, which gives you another +10 to your movement feed. So holy cow, we're over 100 feet when we really need to be. And you have the uncanny metabolism. When you roll initiative, regain all your focus and hit points equal to die of a martial arts die when you don't have any, once per day. So already you can start regenerating and healing and using your powers more and more and more. So we're already getting closer to being that indestructible Superman. Level 3, we get to increase our indestructibility with deflect attacks. As a reaction, you can reduce damage by 1d10 plus dex modifier plus monk level. And if the damage is reduced to 0, you can spend 1 focus point to throw it back at the enemies. They have to make a dex save or take damage equal to the rolls of a martial arts die plus dex modifier. So now, once per turn, you can just turn an attack back on the attacker. Like when someone shoots bullets at Superman, he catches them and maybe throws them back or whatever. It's like you're already getting there, getting more and more indestructible. Then you also get your subclass. And the subclass we're going for is Warrior of the Elements. This makes us more like Superman than any of the other subclasses of Monk, as you will see as we continue going on. You get reach, you get to add 10 feet greater than normal for any attack, so you get to add 10 feet to your attacks, so you can like punch people, like slap the air or something, knock people over, whatever. And you get to punch them far away, and then you get the spell Elementalism. This is kind of a cantrip that lets you reshape things like water, sand, whatever, to do stuff with the elementals, which basically allows you to simulate how Superman uses his hyper breath and his energy beams and stuff to create strange effects, kick up dust storms, freeze some ice there, whatever. Again, getting you closer to being Superman. I mean, now you're probably just about Superboy level. And then level 4, you get an ability score improvement. We're going to improve Dex because that'll increase our initiative. It'll increase our armor class. It'll increase our ability to hit and our damage from a hit. You get slow fall as a reaction to reduce fall damage by 6 times your monk level, which again allows you to simulate being able to jump and fly and levitate and all that without taking much damage. Now we're going to discuss the magical items you're going to want to get right away to help simulate Superman at low levels. For levels 1 to 4, we're going to go for just uncommon items. And the first thing you want to get is Gauntlets of Ogre Power. Instantly, bam, 18 strength. Now you're super strong like Superman. Then Wraps of Unarmed Power to give you a +1 to hit and damage. Again, to help you punch harder than anyone else. And now that's between that and the Gauntlets of Ogre Power, you're getting a +5 to hit and a +5 to damage. Ring of Jumping to allow you to, again, leap higher than the skyscraper and look almost like you're flying with that and your levitation and your feather falling and ability to float down. And of course, a Cloak of Protection to increase your armor class and your saving throws, making you even closer to being indestructible. Again, this is just Super Baby right before you become Superboy level. Now we get to go to level 5. We'll say this is official Superboy level. With this, you get an extra attack. Now you're getting 2 attacks, or with a focus point, well, actually 3 attacks, because you can use a bonus action for an extra unarmed attack, or spend a focus point to get 2 of them. So you can have 4 attacks that are getting +5 damage and lots of pluses to hit for d6 damage. You're doing pretty good. You can also spend 1 focus point to stun target. They have to make a con save, and if failed, the target gets the stun condition until the start of your next turn. Their speed is halved, and all the next attack of them has advantage. So you can punch someone, stun them, and then have advantage to hit them. Pow, pow, pow. It's like, wow, you're hitting them so hard, they don't even know what to do, and they can't react. So as you can see, you're getting there. You're starting to become Superman. Now it's time for level 6, where you get Empowered Strike. So you can deal force damage instead of bludgeoning damage, which is really important because very few things have resistance to force damage. And force damage is kind of the default magical damage. It's like basically the hardest of all the elemental damages. You also get Elemental Burst. For 2 focus points, you can make a blast that's 20-foot radius within 120 feet. Everyone has to make a save for half damage. And if they don't, they take 3 rolls of your martial arts die. And your move goes up. So it's like, basically this would be like him using his heat blast in an area, or doing a super cold blast at everyone, or clapping his hands together to do a thunder strike, which occasionally he does. However you want it to work, it does it. It gets you even closer to Superman. Now it's level 7, and you get evasion. One of the best powers to help you become indestructible. Whenever you have to make a dex save, if you fail, you will still only take half damage. But if you succeed, you take no damage at all. So you're becoming even more indestructible. Holy cow! And at level 8, you get an ability score improvement. Once again, we're going to go for dex and max it out at 20. Woo! Now, you are fast. Your armor class is awesome. You have great initiative. You're up there. It's time for the new magical items that you're going to have between 5th and 10th level. We'll go for the Belt of Giant Strength, Hill Giant, to get your strength at 21. We'll do the Rafts of Honor Power +2. And then we're going to switch out to Bracers of Defense. The Bracers of Defense add a +2 to your armor class, making you even more indestructible. And we're going to give you Wings of Flying. So now you can officially fly. Now, at a level 9, you're going to get the acrobatic movements. And you're going to be able to move on liquids across vertical surfaces and without falling. Once again, getting it so when you don't have to use all your flight speed from your wings in order to equivalent fly. And level 10, Heighten Focus. The Flurry of Blows now does 3 extra attacks, letting you hit faster, harder, and more furious than before. Patient Defense. When used, you gain temporary hit points equal to 2 rolls of your martial arts die. So basically, when you decide you don't want to get hit, and you're going to use that bonus action to be nearly indestructible and give them disadvantage, you also gain temporary hit points, which means it's like a little buffer, making you even more indestructible. Step of the Wind now is 1 focus point to take a willing creature with you. Your move is now plus 20 feet. So, oh my gosh, you are fast, fast, fast. And then restoration. You could end the charmed, frightened, or poison condition on yourself at will. So there you go. Not only are you super tough, you don't have to worry about being charmed or frightened or poisoned. More and more indestructible like Superman. Now level 11, you get Stride of the Elements. A flying speed while you have your elemental attunement active. So when you turn on your elemental attunement to start hitting with force damage and having further reach and doing more damage, you can fly. Now I know this is redundant, we're giving you a lot of options for flying, but that's because Superman can fly a lot. So we're giving him a lot of options for flight to allow him to truly be Superman, to be able to fly and fly and fly and fly. All right. At level 13, he can deflect energy. So now you don't have to just deflect attacks, you can deflect energy. So once per round, as a reaction, you can stop incoming damage of almost any type and throw it back at your attacker. Holy cow, we're getting that indestructibility going on. Oh yeah. At level 14, you get Disciplined Survivor, so you get proficiencies in all saves. And if you fail a save, you can spend 1 focus point to re-roll the save. Suddenly, you're making all your saves. All of them are like doing really well. And you can spend 1 focus point to try them again. And when you're being hit with an area effect or a dex save, you also have evasion going on. So it's like you're really not taking that much damage at all. Level 15, you get perfect focus. You regain focus points when you roll initiative until you have 4. So when you're less than 4 focus points and it's time for a fight, you get 4 back. So you're ready to go. You're back in the action, ready for more fights. And level 16, you get to improve an ability score. So we're going for wisdom, increasing your armor class, increasing your perception, your senses, and your skills, and just making you even more of a bad ass. Now for the magic items you're going to have from level 11 to 16, you're going to want to get wraps of unarmored power +3 for +3 to hit and damage when you're punching. That don't require attunement, which is great. You're going to increase to a belt of hill giant strength fire, so your strength is now 25. Once again, keeping you stronger than everyone else of your peers. Now we're going to switch out to a carpet of flying, which doesn't require attunement. We're going to go for the one that's 3 by 5 feet. And since flavor is free, we're going to say that that's your cape is the carpet of flying. Now you got flying, you got your cape. It's great. Still keep the bracers of defense for the +2 to your armor class to make you more indestructible. And then we're going to pick up the Ring of X-Ray Vision, because Superman has X-Ray vision, something that he uses on occasion and is very clear he has, but not too easy to get in D&D. No other real way to get it besides magic spells, so that's what we're going for. So those are the magic items we're giving him for levels 11 through 16. We're almost there. This is now your full-out Superman in his early career. Not quite to the point where he joins the Justice League, but on his way, well on his way. All right, level 17. You get damage resistance of your choice that you can change at the start of each of your turn. Wow. So now you can take half damage from almost any energy there is, and you already have the half damage from lightning, so you can switch it out, meaning you can increase your indestructibility. You have the destructive stride, where you go run around and attack people while you're moving super fast, giving you like almost unlimited extra attacks. Empowered strike, once on each of your turn, you can do an extra damage equal to 1 martial arts die. So wow, you're doing more damage while you're punching people when you're already doing more damage than anyone else. Than a barbarian with a two-handed battle axe. You are punching the crap out of them really hard, just like Superman. Level 18, you get superior defense. For 3 focus points, you have resistance to all damage except force for 1 minute. 1 minute. Most combats don't last more than a minute. So this basically gives you double hit points, more or less. You're taking half damage from everything except for force, which actually simulates one of Superman's weaknesses in that he's a little more susceptible to damage from magic, and force is the default magic damage, but not using a specific energy. But everything else, you're taking half damage from. Plus, once per round, you can redirect it. Plus, you can give people disadvantage on any hits on you whenever you want. So you are really up there. Level 19, you get an epic boon, and we're going for the boon of speed. +1 to any ability. We'll go with intelligence, so you have a 12 intelligence and a 12 charisma, making you kind of smart and kind of likable. And as an action, you can disengage and end the grapple condition, and you get +30 to your movement speed. So wow, now you really are that fast. Level 20, you get a +4 to Dex and Wisdom. So now your Dex and Wisdom is 24 and 24. You are having a armor class of 26. Plus you can give disadvantage to anyone attacking you when you want. Plus you're taking half damage. Plus you can give yourself temporary hit points whenever you need to. Plus you can heal. I mean, wow, you are nearly indestructible. Of course, we want to wrap that all up with the magical items you're going to have between level 17 and 20. And first of all, a belt of giant strength storm giant. This gives you a strength of 29. 29. Now, then D&D, that is the strength of a god. So you're there. Wraps of unarmed power, +3 to hit. So it's like you're getting a plus 18 to hit and a plus 12 to damage. Wow. Yeah, you're hitting hard. You're hitting like Superman. The carpet of flying, the ring of X-ray vision, the bracers of defense. Of course, one other thing got to talk about skills real quick. Between your background and your class, you're going to have acrobatics and insight and performer. And we're using the rule that if a skill is given to you in your background that's also in a class skill, you can choose any skill you want. So we're going to choose perception to help simulate the super senses and to play off your wisdom. And then you get one artistic tool of your choice. We're going to go for calligraphy because you are a writer, you are a reporter. And of course, the performance simulates how Superman pretends like he's Clark Kent when he's really Superman and gets away with it. And, well, there you go. Does this, if you ask me, this feels like Superman. I mean, you have a base speed of 95 or 105, plus you can more than double that at will. You are faster than a speeding bullet. You can fly from your class, you can fly from your magic items, you can simulate flying from some of your racial abilities, you can jump real far. You are awesome. You got that going on. You can hold your breath in space while you're flying off the planet indefinitely. You've got the ability to have any kind of energy attack you want, which Superman seems to do, especially the heat vision and the cold breath. And you can reshape stuff to make cute little effects with your, and however you imagine it. Oh my God, you have invasion. You got every single save. You can take half damage from anything you want. You can redirect damage once a round. You can give your opponents disadvantage to hit you. You are freaking indestructible. You can give yourself temporary hit points at will. You can heal yourself. You are, wow. You literally can go toe to toe with a dragon or a god beating them up. So if you ask me, this right here is the closest you can get to playing Superman in Dungeons and Dragons. Now we have to assume that there's a universal power scaling level, because Superman can move planets in the comic books. Well, this is the D&D version of him, where gods don't get that kind of strength, but Superman has the strength of a god, so it all works out. Yes, you could have made him more efficient by choosing other magic items. He doesn't really need the gauntlets or the belt of giant strength, because he can just use his dexterity to hit and damage. But his strength is legendary. It's one of his defining characteristics. Just like the X-ray vision, it's like, why would Superman need to X-ray vision? He doesn't necessarily use it that much, but he has it, so he has it. The ability to hold his breath in space and not have to breathe, he's got that. It's like pretty much you got all the power Superman uses regularly. Now, I will grant you there are certain comic books where Superman uses powers like reversing time or whatever, but those are exceptions. Those would be like the Game Master giving you a ability to do something once in a while for the rule of cool and the rule of plot, and not something that's in his normal repertoire. So in my opinion, this right here is the best Superman-like build you're going to find. Well, we will try to handle some of the other ones that a lot of people have done before, but never correctly. So I suppose the next build we'll have to do, so we did Superman, will have to be the Batman. I've seen a lot of people try to make Batman. Every one of them got it completely wrong. I mean, building Batman is remarkably simple. You could just, anyone who's read the comics would be able to tell just who and what his stats should be, but for some odd reason, people are confused. We'll solve that in our next episode. So until next time, may all your critical rolls be natural 20s. Good day.